do about it.
What's up, guys? Faruqi Bros here. This is podcast number 16. Today we're going to be deep diving into the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Now, to introduce us, I'm Shiraz Faruqi, and I'm joined by my brother Zayan.
What's up, guys?
My cousin Umar.
Hey, everyone.
And my other cousin Samir.
What's up?
So, like I said, the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer just dropped a couple of minutes ago. We just got a chance to all watch it, kind of get our feels for what's going on. And let's kind of start breaking it down. I'm going to pass it over to Zion to talk about what he thinks about the first trailer. More of a teaser trailer, I would say.
Yeah, it was more of a teaser trailer, but they showed more than I thought they would. In my opinion, it was better than I thought it'd be. I wouldn't say I had expectations, but if I did, they probably superseded them. Overall, the trailer was pretty good. I think they really set up a lot and showed what's going to be going on in the next movie in Far From Home. I think it looked great. It looked better, more interesting than Homecoming, in my opinion. It was more about, I think it's more about Spider-Man more coming into his own. I guess without Iron Man, there's like, you can focus more on Spider-Man. I think that was like a big thing. Other than that, I think the visuals look pretty good. Better than Captain Marvel, in my opinion. I mean, they look surprisingly polished. The music was really crazy. They actually incorporated the old music, which is really cool. Really cool touch. But yeah, I think overall it was pretty good. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is really good as Mysterio. And like some of the rumors said in the past, they're going to be working together for a little bit. And we saw Sandman, we saw Hydro Man, so this is shaping up to be more of an actual Spider-Man movie than Homecoming, and I think I'm really excited for that.
That was my general takeaway too, was that the movie is very, it's very Spider-Man. Like, it's not, I think Homecoming, one of the things that Homecoming kind of, or some people had a problem with, was the fact that it felt like a very, like it just felt like there's too many things happening, and it wasn't really about specifically only Spider-Man. Like, there's too many other things, like having Tony Stark and other things. But I think this one really feels like a standalone solo Spider-Man movie, and you can see that they're setting up, like, you have more villains. They're setting up more villains. Tom Holland, I didn't expect this, but he actually looks a little older now. So sorry about that. He actually looks a little older. So, like for the older generation that grew up with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it's good to see the kid growing up. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. And another thing was, yeah, the CGI and everything looks really good. The visuals look really good. So it, and this is probably still an early stage. I'm not sure if they're finished making the film, but it looks good. It looks much better than Captain Marvel for sure. Although Captain Marvel is a harder kind of character to deal with in terms of visuals because of the space nature of like she's flying around space and stuff. So it's like weird. It's different. But yeah, my general takeaway is it feels like a solo film. So a lot like Marvel Phase 1, and I guess Phase 4 is going to return to that kind of tone and you know, that kind of filmmaking. So I can't wait. Excited for it.
I thought it was pretty good. You guys already know that Spider-Man is my favorite character, so I'm really excited to see this film. And
the fact that, you know, Phase 4 is kind of like Umar said, it's a reset, and it's kind of like the next part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Endgame is really the end of 3 phases of Marvel in 20 movies, and everything after Endgame is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother scenario. It's a whole nother type of universe, and a lot of it is going to be based on like solo storytelling and focusing on characters. And I think Spider-Man. It's important to remember this trailer actually isn't a Disney trailer. It's a Sony trailer. So Sony's the one who put it out. They chose this day to use it, and they're handling all the marketing for this movie. And there's a theory out there that because Venom did so well, Sony's planning to take Spider-Man back sooner or later. And the contract I mean, not the contract. The deal that Sony made with Disney was only up till this movie. I think this was the final movie that they have in contract for. So after Far From Home, they're gonna have to either redo a contract to keep him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or he's just gonna be doing solo stories. They're gonna keep Tom Holland, and now they have obviously A-list actors like Jake Gyllenhaal and stuff like that. They're gonna use characters. So I could see in the future that if the deal didn't work out, this is the kind of Spider-Man movie we're gonna see going forward, of him kind of in his own world with his own characters, kind of like how it's been before with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But getting to the nitty-gritty of the trailer itself, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a tale of two halves in a sense. I think the first half of the trailer is very much Homecoming. I think it's completely in the style of what Homecoming was. You see Happy again, you see Aunt May, and you see obviously there's like a relationship between them, which personally I'm not really into it. I don't really see it, you know. There is like an Uncle Ben mention in the trailer. You can see the suitcase. You can see the suitcase of Uncle Ben when Peter's packing up to go to the trip. So obviously it's very lighthearted. What they're trying to do is pretty lighthearted, I would say. So basically moving to the next point, I would say, what do you think about Phase 4 in general? Like what they're planning to do after Avengers and Endgame, and what do you guys think? Umar, why don't you go for it?
Well, I think Tony's dead, Loki. Because Nick Fury is in the spot, man. That's Tony Stark's spot. That was literally when I saw him. I was like, nah, man. I ain't about it.
And see, I found it interesting because in the end of the trailer, they make a reference saying that, Mysterio looks like Iron Man and Thor combined, right? And would they be making that kind of joke, like those kids, right, the Peter's classmates? Would they be making that kind of joke if they knew Iron Man was dead? Because Tony Stark is obviously a very popular figure, and everyone knows his secret identity. So if the world,
I think they would.
Yeah. So if the world,
the emotional connection wouldn't be the same, and like Endgame is not. Endgame is such a weird movie because there's gonna be so much like timeline stuff happening that I don't think even his, like, let's say they sacrifice themselves to save everybody. That's not going to be like a public sacrifice. Like, no one's going to like see that. Like, imagine if they go to Titan or somewhere else and they sacrifice themselves. I don't think the kids or people would be able to actually like see that. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out a way where it's public. But
and it's funny
even
because
then, I think that joke would still happen. I think.
Yeah, but I think I gotta disagree on that point because kind of like how when Superman died in BVS, right? I know we're bringing up DC in this, but like there was a huge public funeral, and that was only his second movie. I think if Iron Man was to die in a movie or sacrifice himself or whatever the case might be, I think they would do like a
monument.
Yeah, a funeral monument, some kind of like a statue of Iron Man. You know, like because Tony Stark was such a big figure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in the story universe, like everyone knows him, and he's the most popular guy, you know, in the sense. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I was just watching Iron Man 1 yesterday, and I realized like how long he's been playing the character. He's really like Hugh Jackman in the sense where like he owns the character of Iron Man just as much as Jackman owns the character of Wolverine. But again, going back to the trailer, we see Mysterio. So, what do you guys think of Mysterio? Zach, what do you think of Mysterio?
Well, we only got to see him for like a few seconds. At least Jake Gyllenhaal a few seconds. Most of Mysterio you got was just CG. But I feel like they're going to be taking a much more serious route in terms of character. We know, I mean, Jake is a really great actor, and he's done amazing things in serious roles. So I feel like though the trailer was a little more lighthearted, I think once we actually get into the villain aspect of Mysterio, he's gonna have a really great performance.
I think what we said before, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a A-list actor, and he has a lot going for him in this role. And like John said, I think it's going to be a little more layered. Like, he's not going to be just like your stereotypical villain. In the trailer, you see him fighting Hydro Man, so he's obviously helping Spider-Man. And again, from set photos, we know that he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. So I think Nick Fury hired both Spider-Man and Mysterio to kind of take down all these, like...
Actually, there's some theories going on that they actually might be like manifestations by Mysterio himself.
I was gonna say that myself. That I think what if Hydro Man, all these people are just because Mysterio is the main villain, and even though he's being the good guy in the beginning, we know eventually he's gonna be the one that Spider-Man faces off in the third act. So it's more like what is his bigger scheme here? And we know Mysterio, he's the master of tricks.
That's true, and it would actually fit into his story because he's like a failed like magician or like entertainer, so
Yeah.
maybe he wants to go back to the limelight and be loved by everybody. So he creates these own villains himself, so he can fight them, and the public will love him.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So
And you know, now actually, if you think about it in terms of what Phase 4 is going to be, it'd be interesting how there's less superheroes available now. Like, think about it. Why is Nick Fury talking to Spider-Man? Like, why isn't he going to the Avengers? Like, why isn't he asking any Avenger to do this mission? Why did he come to the kid? You know?
Because they dead, boy.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So I think there could be some loss in the movie, which is the reason why the Avengers are depleted. Like, why would he be asking random magicians and Spider-Man to help him out? So I think there's more to it than meets the eye, really. But yeah, I think that's basically
That's part of
it.
the reason I actually
Yeah.
didn't want to see this trailer. Is that it just kind of, it's not showing anything we don't know, or it's not hinting at something we don't know. It's just like I would have rather they would have to show the trailer eventually, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
the
it.
thing is, the movie's coming out only 2 months after Infinity War, right? So it's coming out July 5th. Infinity War's coming out end of April. So really, just May and June are the only 2 months. And you know how these theatrical movies are; they have to start their marketing process.
I feel like they'll
Early.
pretty much keep it self-contained within the movie.
Yeah, I think the
and
movie's
not
gonna be
mention the
something.
Avengers too much. Even if they're mentioned in the film itself, I feel like they won't bring them up in the marketing. At least I hope not.
Same,
I think they're gonna be a part of it, especially if someone makes sacrifice. Because Tom Holland, Tom Holland and Peter Parker is synonymous now, but Peter Parker is gonna have to go through like a phase of especially if Tony Stark dies,
yeah.
and he would have to go through that. You know what I mean?
Then
And
again,
I'd be curious to see how they would handle that, because it is a lighthearted movie, right?
yeah. Then again, we know how the MCU has kind of handled Peter Parker, for better or worse. You know, we all love the interpretation, but we know how they handled Uncle Ben in Homecoming. They barely mentioned him, and he was never even a part of it. And the Peter's trauma, which is the trauma of Peter Parker, is something that we see a lot in the Tobey Maguire movies and in Andrew Garfield's movies. But this Spider-Man, we haven't really seen trauma out of him outside of the end of Infinity War, where he's saying sorry to Iron Man. But I think, again, when you see him in this movie, he's very oh, I just want to go on vacation with my friends, and he wants to impress MJ and stuff like that. His mentality is very much still, he's a teenager, he's having fun. He's kind of
he doesn't want to bring a suit. You see in the trailer that he just wants to be a normal kid for once. So I think that's very telling about this Peter Parker interpretation.
Yeah, and again, speaking on the tone of Homecoming, and I'll give this question to Samir. Kind of, what do you think about the tone of Far From Home compared to Homecoming? What are your thoughts on the differences between the two and the similarities?
This one definitely looks a little more serious and layered. Obviously, it's Spider-Man, so it's still going to be lighthearted. But, I think they're going to do some interesting things with Peter Parker now that we're in Phase 4 of Marvel.
So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed kind of a breakdown of this thing. It's a short, quick podcast just breaking down the trailer, explaining some of the Easter eggs. If you guys want to subscribe to our YouTube, you know what it is. Follow us on Twitter, all that, and we'll come back to you in the end of the week because we got Shazam also coming, I think, this weekend. So we'll do that trailer as well. So wrap it up.
Yeah, boy, wrap it up.
All right. So
Yeah, boy.
from myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Faruqi Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.